I'm going to talk about Redbelly Network. The ticker is RBNT. It's a real-world asset tokenization layer one. We've talked about layer ones many times, and I like to just break them into two categories. Do I think it's somewhat of a generic layer one, meaning it can be used for many different solutions like a Hedera or an ICP. It has all sorts of applications across different industries. And then there are those that said, well, we're going to have a layer one. We're going to make it specific to something like maybe near with respect to AI. This is Redbelly Network layer one specific to RWA, real world asset tokenization, which personally I believe is going to just take over. Everything's going to be tokenized. We hear about it all the time. DeFi is taking off, and I consider RWA to be in that DeFi space. So I did a video on them a couple months ago. Quite a bit has changed since then. I'm going to go through some of the companies and things that are built upon them because they are layer one. And then some of the partnerships that they've done recently that I didn't review last time. And also there's basically three major changes we'll talk about from the end, and we'll look at pricing from when I did this video last. My disclaimer, I'm Brian. I'm a big dumb animal. Don't do what I do. Informational purposes only. Please do like and subscribe. It greatly helps me out. And also I have a crypto school where every day I have updates, Monday through Friday, market updates. We go over individual cryptos, and I have courses that I'm updating all the time. So if you like what I do, listen at the very end. It'll talk about crypto school. So here we are, Redbelly Network. Now they are, in terms of the assets, there's two major hubs, RWA.xyz, RWA.io, and those hubs are attempting to try to list as many of these companies that are tokenizing things, regardless of what it is, whether it be real estate or treasuries, you name it, they're trying to pull them all together. And so you look up Redbelly Network and you'll find they have a page with information on every single one. What they don't do here, unfortunately, is roll up all the companies that are underneath them. I'll run through it real quick. By underneath, I mean, I should say the companies that are building on top of them. So if someone's building on top of them and they're tokenizing securities of 500 million, I would like to see it roll up on this page. They don't do that, but we'll show you the accumulation there. The bigger ones are Liquidize, asset tokenization for stocks and commodities. That's this particular company. If you want to look more into it, I'll go through these fairly quickly. We talked about them before. Hutley is leading contracts, real-time data for real estate. Over 4,000 agencies generating over 1 million contracts. That's on chain. You've got Bluebird, which is a big one. We'll talk about that in a bit because they are tokenizing carbon credits. And then recently, they announced a partnership with this one called MetaWealth, which is tokenizing real estate. 138 tokenized assets, 850,000 distributed passive income off of these investments, 50,000 investor accounts, 36 million assets under management. This is one of the newest, and I think it may have been just August 1st, very recent partnership that they announced that we didn't have access to last time. As I always say, regardless of what crypto you have, it's good to always stay on top of what are they doing, follow their accounts. And that's why I'm doing this video, because they've had some major updates. This one I think is going to be big for them. So here's a summary of those four. The first one being Bluebird. When they announced it, they said they would have up to about 70 billion worth of carbon credits on chain. Hutley, around up to 1.8 billion of rent roll contracts. Liquidize, they say a little over 800 million. MetaWealth is looking around 50 million. So those are the major ones that they had last time. And this time we've added MetaWealth. They didn't have that last time. And that wasn't really on the radar before. Now let's talk about some of their partnerships. Here we have a group of them. One's called Polytrade. We've got drop linked. Each row is a different one. It talks about whether it's been deployed or not on the mainnet, what's live. So for example, Polytrade, multi-chain RWA marketplace, they added Redbelly as one of their supported networks. Users can list or trade assets on RBNT via Polytrade's marketplace tooling. So you're able to list assets that were built upon RBNT onto this network. That's great. This other one, drop linked, they're commerce NFTs that embed product data that are being minted directly on RBNT. so brands can prove on-chain authenticity. Great idea. You buy a certain bag, costs a couple $1,000s. You want to make sure that that's actually authentic, or maybe a particular watch, whatever it may be. E-money network, building, test phase. Partnership brings MiCA compliant e-money tokens, wallet services to RBMT. They've got a pilot underway. Notify runs validator and node services for RBMT. This one called Jelly C in production, tokenizing Jelly C funds on RBMT with Liquidize, one of the partners we showed before that's helping bring on-chain securities. First fund contracts live since January 2025. Optima Finance, they're on the test net. Tokenized investment strategy vaults in progress. All right, there's a couple more. Now, these are more, I would say, progress that RBNT has made to integrate certain services into their network, because as a layer one, they're providing services for those that are building like a Liquidize or whomever on top of that layer one and using them to tokenize. So this company, Quex Tech, they've got Oracle feed lives. Oracle feeds bringing off-chain data on-chain. For example, what are the latest stock prices, that sort of thing. Flowdesk, a liquidity partner, one called Not Centralized. Now this has to do with the CBDC. That's a project called Acacia, where they brought on board a central bank digital currency, Australian dollar. Ferex Holdings, this one was interesting. They launched a token live so that you can actually invest in titanium, a titanium-backed token, like a gold-backed token. They've got a security partner running audits, Hashlock, Unmarshal, Data Indexer. All right, so that's some of their partnerships. So that's some of the new functionality that they've built in and a couple new things that have launched. So now let's look at the token. Before we look at the three major things that have changed, if you go to CoinGecko, or this is CoinMarketCap, you'll see that the max supply of tokens, 10 billion. They have 2 billion out. Timesing that by the current price gives you a market cap of 40 million, fully diluted of 200 million. Makes sense. 1/5 of the coins are out, so the market cap is 1/5 of the fully diluted. Good news here. You can get it on things like MEXC, Gate.io. I think they just added Bitmart. But most importantly, in my mind, is that you can get it on Uniswap. Everyone knows Uniswap. Been around forever. Hook up your wallet. Real simple. And that's on the Ethereum chain. It might be a wrapped version, but you can still obtain it. Now let's dive a little more into tokens before I show you the pricing chart. And here's why. This is one of their white papers from the Redbelly Network. And it shows the allocation of that 10 billion. Almost 4 billion to ecosystem development, 300 million to government's DAO. Investors, they had an A sale, a B sale, a C sale, and they even had a seed round of almost 3 billion, which is about 30%. That's a lot in my mind. Team about 10%, 200 million for the core developers, innovations of the network, and reserve about 2 billion, which I guess they'll just sell over time to raise funds to continue to build over time. And it's 0 months from the listing, and it was listed in 2024. I think we're only about 10 months or 9 months into the amount of tokens giving out. So here's 20 months. So we're somewhere around here. And as you can see, it's got these three are investors. All this gray here are investors getting theirs over time. And then you've got the different things like the team, the government's DAO, and the ecosystem. Everything is coming out continuously over time. So not a big cliff. Sometimes you'll see a big drop off and a huge amounts unleashed. So here it is currently around 0.019. Last time I did a video on it, I think it was 0.017 or 0.018. Because you can see once it tanked, it has just been going sideways. If they had some kind of nefarious things going on here, which I don't know for sure, if they did, that's a difficult thing to come back from. You're taking away a lot of investor confidence. I hope that's not the case. I put the volume here on purpose because as you can see, the volume has done nothing but down. It's had some little spikes up. Let's hope that this most recent one is a nice spike up because it has been, and this is a daily chart, and this is from inception. It's only been out since December of last year. If you zoom in more, you can see it's really been consolidating for a while, as have most cryptocurrencies since last November and December. We know they've all come down. They're consolidating. Some have jumped up already. Some haven't yet. So this is following, I think, the pattern of the majority of crypto out there. maybe we've got, we've got this here, and let's see if possibly this looks like a low, and then we've got another higher low potentially. So maybe, and I have nothing to confirm this in the chart, maybe this is a bottom. We don't know. We're going to have to see what happens. The volume has been sideways and really down even through this sell-off here. And it's popped. So I would keep it on your chart. But again, it's only a 40 million market cap and only a 200 million fully diluted. So when I always talk about my investments, I'll say I put it into capital groups. So within an industry like RWA, I'll have my 1, 2, and 3 level. The 1 being the $1 billion market cap ones, the 2s being the hundreds of million market caps, and the 3s being the tens of millions of market caps. And then I dish out the capital appropriately. If it's 20,000 for the large, and it's 5,000 for the medium, and maybe 1,000 or so, just to give you a general idea of how I like to do it. Obviously, all crypto is risky. Obviously, this type of crypto is even riskier. But let's get to the 3 major things that happened recently. First was Bluebird. At that point in time, they had not onboarded their carbon credits. They were on the list of something to be done. Well, it has been done. It was probably done a while ago, but now it's finally reflected on the RWA.io, currently showing about 54 billion worth when it was showing around 70, potentially up to 70 billion. That's what's helping their overall number be so high. That was the first thing. The second thing was, I believe this partnership with MetaWealth will be huge for them. The tokenization of real estate, that's a no-brainer. And this company is interesting. As I was looking through their app and what they have, they're trying to make it really simple and easy to use. That's the second thing. And the third thing was, if we look at last time I did a video, asset class breakdown by blockchain, they were, Redbelly was number 1, 2, 3, 4 behind Ethereum and Solana XDC at around 969 million. Let's call it a billion. Showing up on chain. Now they're showing up as number 1 ahead of Ethereum, XDC, Solana, and the rest at almost 55 billion. They were a billion before. They're 55 billion now. They're way ahead of everyone else. That's a big deal. And they are sitting at a 40 million market cap and a 200 million fully diluted. But the fact that they're sitting with the most tokenized assets in terms of TVL, total value locked, on chain, actually showing up and validated by a third party like RWA, I think that's a big deal. It's also impressive, some of the recent partnerships like with MetaWealth and others. So they're moving along their roadmap. They are blocking and tackling. They're making things happen. You follow some of these cryptos and you realize they're not doing much. You follow others and you want to make sure, because I do this, I check in regularly with whatever I've invested in and their competitors to see who's moving the needle the most. And I believe they're doing an excellent job. Make your own decision. Hope this was helpful. Hope we can all make generational wealth together with crypto. Please do listen to this quick summary of my crypto school. Thanks for watching. Love how I break things down? Then hop into my crypto school. You'll get step-by-step courses on everything: buying, selling, staking for yield, borrowing, lending, even going fully debanked. Plus, join lively crypto chats and catch my daily market updates. And lastly, if you just want to help support the channel, there's a join button just below this video.